Let's give out some 2021 season awards next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Thursday, October 7th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White. And let's start right up top, Scotty. The most impactful player in the 2021 season was
Shohei Ohtani. Probably not a surprise. Elite contributor in home runs, elite contributor in stolen bases. And if you didn't need either of those, you could always plug him in as an ace for your pitching staff. Huge impact from that guy for a middle round price tag, it turns out.
Let's move on to the most valuable hitter, who was
Cedric Mullins of the Orioles. So value, I'm thinking in terms of bang for the buck here. And Cedric Mullins was basically on nobody's radar coming into the season. He had been like a fourth outfielder type for the Orioles. Really bad team, obviously. And then he gave up switch hitting and emerged as a 30-30 player. In fact, the only 30-30 player in baseball in 2021. If that's not value, I don't know what is.
Yeah, he was being drafted outside of the top 400 picks in ADP this season and finished as the 20th overall player in 5x5 Roto leagues. The most valuable pitcher in 2021 was...
I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler here, who was obviously pitched like a Cy Young candidate, emerged as a true ace in fantasy. And, you know, it seemed like he had settled in as just kind of this safe pick in the middle rounds, throw a lot of innings for you, but unspectacular numbers. And so that's all anybody drafted him as, myself included. But I was happy to have that at the point where you could draft Zach Wheeler. Obviously ended up getting more than I bargained for because he emerged as a big bat misser, still threw a ton of innings. And even when he kind of slowed down in the middle of the season, finished strong in September.
Yep, and Zach Wheeler wound up leading baseball with 213 and a third innings pitched. He was massive this past season. The most improved hitter or hitters.
Yeah, it's a tie between Tyler O'Neill and Austin Riley. The true answer is Cedric Mullins, of course, but I'm trying to vary it here. So I'll go with O'Neill and Riley, who, entered their careers with a lot of hype. Strikeouts set them back early on, but they were thought to have huge power potential. Wasn't clear if they would ever make good on it. They both made good on it this year. Both were 6-win players, according to Baseball Reference's version of WAR. Both deserve to be in the MVP conversation, though not win it, of course. And I think both will be drafted in like the round 5, round 6 range next year.
Yeah, and I think this is a good case of post-hype sleepers, right? Or not giving up on former top prospects who take a couple of years to come into their own with both Tyler O'Neill and Austin Riley. The most improved pitcher in 2021 goes to...
It's Robbie Ray, who, he could have also worked for most valuable pitcher. He had been, in my mind, I was basically done with Robbie Ray. He had shown flashes in the past, particularly with the strikeouts, but it was just too inefficient, walked too many guys, and got hit too hard too. And it all changed this year, especially the walks, to the point he's now probably going to be the Cy Young winner in the AL.
All right, we've got 5 fun ones here, Scotty. Let's move a little bit faster with these. The Gonzo Award. What?
Biggest weirdo. Gonzo is a weirdo. That's what he's known as with the Muppet. Yeah. Cal Quantrill. Cal Quantrill can't figure out why he was so good. His xFIP was among the highest in baseball, even though he had a sub-3 ERA.
The guy fantasy footballers won't see coming.
Frank Schwindel, final 2 months. Yeah, Frankie 2 hits. Final 2 months, he came up after being like a career minor leaguer and put up huge numbers. Hit about 320 with some power.
The one you've already forgotten about.
You've forgotten about Patrick Sandoval, haven't you? All the strikeouts he was getting, all the swinging strikes he was getting on his changeup and slider, the changeup especially. But he's been hurt for long enough now that you may not remember. You need to prioritize him going into next year.
Patrick Sandoval? Who is that? Mr. Look who finally decided to show up.
Adalberto Mondesi, who you drafted to be a big contributor of steals. Of course, he was absent most of the season because of injuries, but if you managed to survive without him in September, when he returned finally, delivered 14 steals that final month, did a lot of damage for you in that category, made up a lot of ground in roto. And if you had him in a head-to-head categories league like I did, he really swung the matchups in your favor by single-handedly winning that category.
Last but not least, Mr. Thanks for the memories.
Gonna go with Hyunjin Ryu here. I just don't see him bouncing back after crashing hard over the course of the 2021 season. I think he's donezo. So it's been real, Hyunjin Ryu, but I'm moving on next year.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast, where we talked about a lot more awards on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again on Tuesday morning. Bye-bye.